In this daily drop, it's part one of my look into the brand new RØDECaster video, so let's go. All right, everybody, here we are with a brand new product from Rode. It has been, it seems to me, a long time since we have seen something drop from the company. There was a period there where it just seemed like a new product was coming out all of the time. And this RØDECaster video is definitely a big leap for Rode. It's kind of like the RØDECaster Pro series, RØDECaster Duo series, had a baby with a Streamer X, but the baby was more than the sum of its parts. Am I saying that correctly? And this thing is a beast. It's incredibly well made, and there's a lot to talk about. This part one video, because I just literally picked this up today, took it out of the box and started to look at it, is really going to be about talking about the actual connections here on the back of the device, talking about what I think this device is in terms of who it's intended for, and then we'll get into more of this product in the future. Unfortunately, I'm heading out of town in a few days for about a week and a half, but when I get back, I'll dive more into this. I'll have it connected to my computer, and we'll start to talk more about its functionality. All right, let me get rid of this box right here, because what I've done, hold on, is I have taken the Getting Connected guide that's on the inside of the box, and I've taken a screenshot of that, and I have it here on my iPad mini as just a reference. And connections, there are a lot of here. I will refer to this to kind of take you through some of this. But first and foremost, what is this thing? Well, I said it's sort of this hybrid product here, and it is for Rode a brand new, I would say, product category, even though they had the Streamer X and they had the RØDECaster, and well, they have the Streamer X and the RØDECaster Pro series. And one is really for streaming, and it's really for, you know, single input video streaming. And then the RØDECaster Pro, RØDECaster Pro II, the RØDECaster Duo, those are really audio-centric devices. And you will notice if you take a look here at the RØDECaster video, there are no faders on here. There's tremendous functionality that you can access through software. And of course, there are a lot of physical buttons here and knobs and things like that. But if you're looking for something that is completely audio-centric, then I would definitely be looking at the RØDECaster Pro II, RØDECaster Duo. But this thing is a combo effect here. Now, I've attached these antennas. These are for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity. They're sort of your standard threaded antennas here. Let me make sure that that one's fully threaded. And again, just having this for a few hours, we're going to have to dig into this a lot more. But I'm not really a review person. I'm not really an unboxing person. But I did feel like on launch day, it was important to talk about some of the things here. Now, except for what you're seeing here, the only other thing that's inside of the box is a power supply. And that power supply is USB-C, which is fantastic. So it does also come with a USB-C cable, which you could use to connect to your computer for your computer connectivity. But for portability, I would probably say I'm going to forego this, and I'm going to use something like I'm using right now, which is an ANKER USB-C power delivery brick. And you just have to make sure that that is outputting at least 65 watts, and that the cable, USB-C cable, is a power delivery cable that also supports up to 65 watts. So I'm going to go ahead and power on the unit right now, and it's going to get all fancy and light up and all of that fun stuff. The fan kicks in initially and then goes quiet. I have not used this yet in a real-world production environment, so I don't know when or if those fans will tend to kick in on a regular basis. So that will be interesting to see. But there's a lot to unpack right here just on the back of the device itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this section first, which is really dedicated to audio inputs and outputs. And you'll see here, to me, this is a big difference when it comes to this particular product and some of the other products on the market. We have professional combo jacks here, XLR and 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch in the middle, and then XLR can connect to that. And then you have 4 1/4 inch ports here. I'm just kind of guessing there they are right here. And 2 of them are really designed to go to external speakers, and then 2 of them would be for headphones. So you've got those connectors here. HDMI outputs next to that, you've got 2 of those. So if you want to push those out to external monitors and things like that, you can. And then we get into the input section here. We have 4 HDMI inputs, and this will support inputs that are, yes, you can use a 4K camera, but the inputs are for 1080 up to 60 frames per second. So I imagine within this overall product category, where there's other products from companies like Blackmagic Design, you have the YOLO products that we're going to start to see in the future, because this is really Gen 1 of the RØDECaster video, 4K in these devices at some point. But this product category, generally for streaming and things like that, is relegated to 1080 at this time. I'm looking forward to 4K at some point, but there you go. So you've got the 4 HDMI inputs, and then we have 5 USB-C ports on here. And I will refer here to the diagram here. The first one is USB-C 1, and that's the one next to, there it is right there. That one is for primary video output and multi-track audio. So this is when you are using all these inputs, this is what you're going to connect basically to your computer. And then you have USB 2 next to it for device. It says for device control and a secondary audio interface. And then you get into the other USB ports here, USB 3 for external USB storage devices. Though that said, there is also a micro SD slot in here for a card. And then the last 2 USB-C ports are for connecting webcams, which I talked briefly about before. So if you were using, I guess, a mirrorless camera, you could connect that, and also Rode USB audio devices. Now, if you're using something like the Rode Wireless Pro, there's stuff inside this heavy little box that will allow you to basically use the transmitter, and then the receiver is in here. I'm almost 100% right that I'm almost 100% sure that I have that correct. And then you have the Ethernet port here, and as I said, the micro SD slot, and then of course USB-C for powering the actual device. And that's really what you've got here. And then on the front, you have these different buttons here. They're basically altogether, you've got 10 of these buttons here. The top row is labeled A through G, and then the bottom row is 1 through, is it actually labeled? Well, it's 1 through 6. Wait, what is wrong with my math here today? There are 14 buttons. It's one of those days. There are 14 main buttons inside of here, and then you have all of these smaller buttons here, and then you have these knobs that will allow you to get into menus. You have the small display. You have these additional buttons for cut and auto, and the software is going to give you tremendous functionality in terms of that. Also, I should note that there is a keyer that comes with this. So I'm going to say that's not surprising. It would be more surprising that we would not get that in a device like this. So I'm excited to see how well the keyer works, how much we can dive into, though I know we can dive into it a lot, the audio component of this, and how much we're feeling like we have to go to the computer to do things, and how much of it, based on all of these buttons and dials and everything else, we can do with the device. Now, from the meetings I have had with Rode, both earlier this year, or was it late last year, somewhere around there, and also around NAB, The functionality is extensive, and this is a touchscreen here. So I just tapped on something here, and you'll see that I can actually go through these different pages here and go back to home easily. And I know that from the initial demo that I saw on this, that it is very, very intuitive in terms of how you use it. So I think at this point, for me personally, what I actually have to do is start to connect things and start to work with the device, which is why I'm doing a part 1 to just talk about it and the fact that I'm excited about it. And then when I start to dig into it, I will start to figure out how this particular product works in terms of my workflow, and then also how I think it might work for you and your workflows. If you're in a 1080 world for most of the stuff that you're doing, this is going to be a rock star product. I think that you are also, I think you should be thinking about this product from the standpoint of streaming and getting content out there with multiple inputs. It's also going to be great for doing small shows. So if you're switching and you're putting things together for smaller programs that are in 1080, then I think this is going to be a great option. So to close out this particular part 1 episode, I'm going to say that the first thing that I would do, which I've started to do myself, is take a look at some videos. I'll put a couple of ones that I think are worthwhile and that will get you sort of into what this product is and what it's intended for. And then I'll come back from my trip and start to dig into this a little bit more. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.